Hello, welcome back to this video, and today we're going to finish the series on this side with the snakes, and in this case it's going to be the fourth quadrant. Final is going to be probably the most problematic of all of them, and this is going to be the bottom and outside. Now why? First of all, as I said before with the third quadrant, the only reason why you're going to be using that is because you are too far to try the inside, because the inside is always easier. You can trap the hand at the very least, and that is safer than try to come underneath. But as I always said, as I also said in the other video, there is a way for you to actually make it easier on yourself, and that is by striking against your forearm. In this case, it's going to be easier than the one that we did before with the top, in which I would have to go up. In this case, I actually have to go underneath, so it's actually quite slightly easier, at least in the first part of this disarm. So again, the idea behind this is to strike against the forearm, so that way when you trap it, it's much easier for you to go and grab the stick right after. So first thing again is this. Second thing is you're going to chop down and grab it. Make sure that when you do that, you're going to go quickly. Now, two things can happen, and we're going to switch so you can see now the two things that I'm going to discuss. First one is this, and you're going to trap the stick in hand. That is the ideal case scenario. Now, why? Because obviously every time you trap stick in hand, it's much easier for you to peel it. Like for example, I can strike, and I'm going to bring this towards the other side. As you can see, I'm pulling already the person. Imagine if I pull with power by shifting my body weight towards the back. So the idea behind this, again, is trapping, and once you strike, you pull at the same time backwards as fast as you can. That would be an option. The only problem with that, again, is that the person might trap it. So that's why, just in case you're still going to have this, just in case, again, you need to repeat, lay back and then strike a little bit more towards their face, meaning make sure that you always have a plan B for this, just in case this doesn't work. Still, you can strike and pull it right after. Now, that is the first option that we're going to see. But again, that is a very best case scenario, the one in which I'm going to go slightly deeper. Now, here, another thing that we can do is after I strike here, I'm going to bring this up. So it's going to be this striking. Now, why? Because now, so you can see, I can immediately place my wrist against the other person's wrist, and I can pull it. So super slow. 1, 2, getting against the forearm, you're going to chop down, you're going to strike, place it on top, and pull. So again, those two case scenarios are the ones in which you're going to trap the stick in hand. But as I said before, it's going to be very unlikely, particularly because the person is going to pull towards the back immediately. So most likely you're going to be ended up grabbing the stick instead of the stick in hand. So what is that case? So let's actually give you two different options for that. First one, we're going to repeat the same thing, but as the person is pulling back, now you can grab the stick. This is important. You have to grab something. Obviously, ideally, you're going to grab here, but sometimes you're going to grab slightly farther. Still, you manage to grab it, you still have an advantage. But let's actually go for the first case scenario, in which you're going to trap the stick, but closer towards the wrist. In this case, you're going to strike, same thing as you were doing before, and now you're going to strike with the puño and pull back at the same time. So it's this. So let's actually repeat that one more time. 1, 2, again, here, trap, strike, and strike. So as you can see, you're targeting the inside of the radial bone when you strike down with your puño. Make sure that you strike with the puño, but when you train, make sure that you actually use your forearm, not the puño, because this is going to be very, very thick, and it's going to hurt the other person. So make sure that you don't hurt the other person while training. So again, use your forearm. 1, 2. Again, the idea will be this, chopping, striking, and look, I'm using the puño like this. Final option, this is going to be your fourth option. We're going to have the same beginning, same up and down, but once you trap, make sure that once you hit, you're going to lift this up like this. Now, why is that important? Because in this case, we're going to go 1 there, and look here, I'm going to strike back. You strike back, and then you release. So super slow. One more time, 1, 2, right there. Now look, you chop and strike, but in this case, you're going to strike all the way through. Once you do this, you lift it. So let me actually freeze right at the end. Once you have these, you strike and freeze these going up. So again, one more time, 1, 2 is going to be this and strike. And as you finish, you cut in the opposite direction. Make sure that you strike 45 degrees down. The idea behind this, again, is to trap it first, striking and lifting. Once you have that, you're going to strike the hand right away. The idea behind this is to lift so the hand is more exposed. I'm going to the inside, in this case, of their arm, but make sure that when you do, you actually are going to try to hit the hand. But when you train, don't do that because accidents happen and you're going to hurt the other person's hand. So I'm going to actually do it slowly. How it would look like, it will be this strike lifting and attacking the hand. That will be how you're supposed to be doing it. But two things that I want to warn you. First, what I just said, you might actually hurt the other person's hand by accident. Second, you might actually hurt yourself by striking your own hand, particularly when the other person pulled, you miscalculated, you ended up hitting yourself. So what do you do in that case? First of all, you still have to sense where the stick is and try to maximize the power by grabbing with your, bending your elbow and getting closer towards your body. Once you do, if the person pulls, the person will pull you, if the person's stronger, with themselves. So in this case, you're not extending your arm. That's actually important because you want to know where the stick in the hand is, right? Second thing is you can actually slide it as you strike the hand, so you don't hurt your hand, not even by accident. So I'm going to repeat one more time. 1, 2, go up and down, strike and lift, and strike the hand. So a little bit faster will be here, this strike and strike the hand all the way through. Make sure that, again, the important thing is the beginning, whether it is this and trap the stick and hand, or this and trap now just the stick. Make sure that you actually have this part first and then trapping. As you can see, that's much easier for you to maximize trapping anything rather than just do this, go and pull back, and not have anything at all. So you have to make sure that the sandwich that I was discussing about in the beginning will really help you to trap much easier. You strike and then strike the hand all the way through. So as you can see, there are just 4 options that you can play around. This is going to be the end of the saga series on snakes. And again, the snake is going to be the beginning movement they're going to do. Keep in mind that, as I always remind people, this is extremely complicated, if not almost impossible to pull off in a real fight. But I find usefulness in this because even if it doesn't look like this, you can always try to circle around. In worst case scenario like this, you can actually just temporarily trap the stick as you strike the other person's hand, meaning it's going to take the other person a little bit longer to pull back than it's going to take you to attack the person's head. So even just for that value, that's still a lot. So don't neglect that just because you will not finish the movement. And always keep in mind that, as I always say too, and I wanted to remind this to everyone, you always have to have a plan B, just in case the other person punches you, just in case the other person doesn't respond to your pulling and the other person is stronger than you are. You still have to retain your weapon free in order for you to strike with as much power as possible, particularly targeting the person's hand or head, so that way you can inflict more damage. So as usual, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please like and subscribe, and I see you in the next one. Ush.